a fantasy Premier League podcast with FPL Haul.
Hello, good morning, afternoon, or good evening, wherever you guys are today. It's deadline day. It's not a Friday or a Thursday or whenever I stream. It's a Saturday. It's game day. And like I said on Twitter and on our Discord, that I think today morning's even better. You know, I live on the other side of the planet. I live out in Asia, so I'm up anyway, but I'm sure a lot of people in the UK are up with families and stuff, and there's not a lot of FPL around at this time. So I thought, hi. And with a new baby who decided to do a massive poop at just before I was supposed to go live at 3 o'clock, I've had better starts, but excited because it is wildcard time for me. A lot of people have been against my bench boost game week 1 and wildcard game week 2. I'm gonna stand by it, guys. We'll have a look at my team, answer any questions or last minute choices that you guys have got. If you are gonna give questions, general questions are great, but if it's about your specific team, please try and keep it to things like this player or this player. You know, don't post an entire team and expect people to be able to figure it out, because they'll just turn your team into their team. But every time people ask me for advice and they give me such a broad thing of like, what about these 5 players and these, I'll just end up telling you to choose a team I've got, because you know that's why I've got them. So if you've got any questions, general questions about specific players or performances or opinions and things, which is great, but if it's about your team specifically, try and keep it to sort of an A or B question. If you're wondering about the little stream avatars down at the bottom you've got there, if you do want to change it, just !random will change your character into whatever different clothes and hat and wig or something weird. But if you want to specifically choose a Premier League shirt, do !color, spelt the non-English way, and then type the name of the team. So for example, let us back this week Arsenal. And my guy's little shirt, you can see, I'm the one with like a blue bandana at the bottom, and now he's wearing an Arsenal shirt. Or if we want to back Man City, colour Man City, because that's who our captain is with Haaland this week, then I'll wear a Manchester City shirt. Okay, there we go. So we'll start. Okay, we'll start with a question. Captain Mitrovic, the way that I see it, and a lot of people will popularly say, you cannot win FPL in the first week, but you can lose it to an extent. What I would just suggest is I wouldn't be doing. If you think in your heart of hearts, VL, that Mitrovic is going to get the most points, then yes, Captain Mitrovic. But if you're doing it just to be different, now's not the kind of week to do it, because you've got Salah and Haaland have both got home fixtures, both pretty favourable fixtures, especially Manchester City. You're really going against like 150% effective ownership. Now, and again, I'm not saying necessarily to have effective ownership influence your decision, but I just would not be going for Mitrovic. Not because I don't think he'll get the most points. I don't think he will. That's why he's not my captain. But stay with the pack for now. Just go, I would say, Haaland or Salah. And I think they are the 2 best captaincy options anyway. So I wouldn't be going that way. Hey, Krista, hey, Shway, hey, Rob. Hope you guys are having a nice morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you guys are. So we'll let you guys type any questions that you have or any discussions. We'll look at the fixtures. We'll just start with the wildcard team I've got. It hasn't actually changed since my video the other day. Okay, good question, Team Breezy. I'll go through my team and I'll explain why I haven't got Jesus and why I've got Saka. I didn't have him in game week 1 either. And I'm not saying Gabriel Jesus is not a good pick. He just doesn't fit into the way to the team that I have right now. Okay, so we'll start up front then. You can see that I've got Haaland, I've got Mitrovic, and I've got Darwin, right? People are going to straight away point out the likes of Darwin. Has he done enough yet? Mitrovic, I don't think for 6.6 million, I don't think people are going to think, oh, what's Mitrovic doing there? He impressed in game week 1. Fulham as a team impressed as well. And I think Mitrovic at 6.6, or I got him at 6.5, is better value than 6.5 million midfielders. So let's go for Darwin. My decision was, it was Jesus and Diaz, the Liverpool winger Diaz, or Saka and Darwin. And I just felt as a combination, Darwin and Saka is better. Now, I decided, in game week 1, before game week 1, I did the bench boost, right, in game week 1. So I said I was going to start the season aggressively. Sometimes I feel as though with the likes of Darwin, from what people have seen in the last preseason game, I think it was against Salzburg, right, when he got 3 or was it 4 goals? And then he had the Community Shield. He came on, did really well, got a goal. And then he came against Fulham, changed the game completely, and his XG was ridiculous in that amount of time, and he got a goal and assist. Some people will just, I've decided this year, I've been worried far too many seasons about expected minutes. That's why I never really back Manchester City midfielders. And this year I want to go for players who I just think have such a high potential, and I think that is Darwin. And I know people are going to be wildcard in game week. People say game week 2 is so early to wildcard, but then they'll wildcard in game week 3 or 4, and I don't think that's a huge amount of difference. It's not exactly a huge influx of data between game week 2 and game week 3. But from what we've seen from Darwin, he looks like he's going to get goals. He's going to be a spear. He's not going to be like Firmino and drop back. He's going to be sitting in that box, trying to get balls from Diaz. And the reason why I've gone for Saka and Darwin, I think Saka is just a better option than Jesus. I do like midfielders, but I still think Saka is going to be, even he didn't play well against Palace, but he got an assist. And you just get extra points for goals and things and clean sheets. And I think Arsenal get clean sheets. So it's nothing to do with Gabriel Jesus individually. He's a really great pick. But if I have to choose an 8 million midfielder, I don't want Kulusevski, I don't want Mount, and I don't want Maddison right now. So that leaves Saka or Diaz. Well, I've got Darwin, and I prefer the Darwin-Saka combination. So I've not gone for Jesus because I've got Martinelli and Saka. I've got both players on either side of him. So I'm not worried about Jesus' ownership. I think he's a good pick. I think Saka will stay there. But just going back to Darwin, I sometimes think people right now want to take advantage of Darwin because people's structures at the start of the season probably can't get him in. He's 9.1 million now. And you've probably got Kane and someone else. And you're going to have to... And you've probably got 3 Liverpool already. You've probably got Diaz and Robbo as the third. You've got Trent, you've got Salah, you've probably got Diaz and Robbo. So I just felt get on Darwin early and try and get those points before his ownership skyrockets, especially after people wildcard from pretty much next game week. So that's why I don't have Gabriel Jesus. I don't have to explain Haaland, 21, I don't think. I like the Arsenal double. So because I've wildcarded now in game week 2, I need to sort of set myself up to last structurally without any major changes until the World Cup, till after the World Cup, until we get that World Cup wildcard. And I don't think there's a better way to do it than basically just have the top 4 teams. So I've got Arsenal, well, top 5 if we say Arsenal, but Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal. And then I've got 1 Fulham. And not just that, but you look at the fixtures. So if we go to Arsenal, the fact that we've got triple Arsenal, right? They've got Liverpool and City in 10 and 12, and Chelsea in 15. Manchester United is not a red fixture. So really they've got 2 very difficult fixtures and 1 difficult fixture against Chelsea, and then it's the World Cup. So 3 all the way until game week 16 is not bad. Liverpool and City, I don't care who they play against. They can play against each other. You think that they can get something, so I'm not worried about that. And then we've got Chelsea. Now, I know they've got Spurs, and then they've got Liverpool in game week 8. But again, all the way up until game week 18, their fixtures are good. Now, I could have gone Sanchez, not Ederson. And then I could have gone James and Diaz. And you can see I don't have Cancelo. I'm going to come back to Cancelo in a minute. But I want that double City defense. And I think 5.5 million Ederson and 5 million Walker. So 10.5 million, I think is fantastic value. And with Man City signing that new left back from Anderlecht, and if they don't sign a first team left back, and with the comments that Pep said after the West Ham game, I'm encouraged to think that he's going to give him at least till January. So 10.5 million for double Man City clean sheet potential, I think is great. I don't feel as though Cancelo is going to be worth his 7 million with the new system. And this has been pointed out by other other people as well. Just a really simple graphic from here. Okay, so this right hand side here, if I zoom in, this right hand side is, go down, this is Manchester City's average positions throughout the game. Now you can see, good to see Haaland all the way up there near the opposition attack, Kevin De Bruyne not far behind him, and then of course you've got Foden on one side, and over here you've got Jack Grealish, which you expect. You expect, of course, Ederson to be in goal, and the two centre-backs here with Rodri in this holding role. You can see Walker's actually a tiny bit up in front of Cancelo, but it's not about the fact that they are on the halfway line, which you'd like to see from your defenders as an average position. It's the fact of how narrow Cancelo is. And when he used to play, whoever plays in front of him, so let's say last season it was Raheem Sterling, I think Cancelo negatively affects whoever the winger is in front of him, because Cancelo likes to get down the wing and cut inside. If he's more central, that means the likes of, let's say, Grealish, if he plays on this left-hand side, he'll stay wide, which we saw against West Ham. He can get balls into the box for Haaland quicker than waiting for a Cancelo overlap. So Cancelo's assist potential, if he's playing more centrally, I think is lower. Therefore, I don't think he's necessarily going to be worth his 7 million. Now, if I do need to jump to Cancelo, I will. But I'm not going to have him in until I see something. And I didn't see a lot in the Community Shield. I didn't particularly see a lot against West Ham. Yes, he got a lot of passes in that West Ham game. But this isn't Sky FPL. He's not going to get points for passing. And I know he got a bonus point, but he got a clean sheet. So if he's getting 7 points, but Walker, Diaz, and Ederson are getting 6 points, I'm okay with not having that 1 point. So I just don't feel as right now, with the way that they've got this kind of box formation, you can see here Diaz, Ake, Cancelo, Walker, with Rodri pulling the strings in the middle. If he's not going to be doing those overlapping runs, it makes Grealish a better option, or whoever is playing the left wing, but it just makes Cancelo not a great attacking option. It's like the argument about people telling me I need Zinchenko. Now, the problem with Zinchenko is, if he's not going to be left back, let's say Tierney comes back from injury and Zinchenko goes into midfield, you're thinking, fantastic. My left back is playing in midfield. That's an out of position. This is wonderful. But if he's playing in this sort of central deep role, you would actually prefer them to play that left wing back role and get the ball in and be dangerous. So Zinchenko right now as a left back pushing forward is better than if he ends up in midfield and plays like next to Xhaka for 5 million. Yeah, you'll get the clean sheet points, but we choose players like the left backs and the left wing backs and the right backs and the right wing backs for their attacking potential. So if they end up playing centrally like Cancelo is here, or Zinchenko if he does move into midfield, they don't make them as valuable options. Now, if we see this change and it goes back to Cancelo doing the overlaps and pushing up forward down the left-hand side of Man City's attack, that's when we've got the Cancelo we know back from last season, who, by the way, was one of the biggest underperformers. And then he's definitely going to be worth 7 million. But if he's going to be here, if I compare him to like Robertson, for example, if you've got Trent and you're thinking, I've got 7 million to Robertson or Cancelo, Robertson's going to bomb up this side. He's going to take set pieces and he's going to get in the box. Coming back to Diaz as well, why I think Darwin is a better option is Diaz isn't Mane. He plays deeper and he can play wider. Now, Salah's still going to do Salah things. He's still going to want goals. He's still going to attack. He's still going to get in there. And I think Diaz is going to be more of a creative player. So if Firmino usually was the false nine, or whoever was in that middle part would drop deeper, you'd have Mane bombing forward and you have Salah bombing forward. But now it feels as though Diaz isn't going to bomb forward. It's going to be Darwin bombing forward and Salah bombing forward. So again, I think that's why I'm going for Darwin too. Just a little side note there. Let me know what you guys think about Cancelo. I know half of the game has Cancelo, which is completely understandable based on last season, but I'm trying to pick out ways to get an advantage. I've got a double City clean sheet, so if they do end up getting a clean sheet and Cancelo gets 9 points, I'm all right because I've got Ederson and Walker getting clean sheet points too. It covers that base. And I just fancied James for that attacking potential. Saliba, I think, impressed everyone on his debut, and he's 4.5 million. He got 8 points. I said earlier about Arsenal's fixtures, 10 and 12 here. Liverpool and City, that's when I'll bench him. And that's why I've saved a 0.5 and I've gone for Almiron. This is someone I've talked about a lot this week. I even did a post on Instagram where I was like, this guy just stood out to me. And I checked his stats and I thought, well, his heat map wasn't great, so I don't think it was particularly good. And I couldn't believe it, but expected assists, Almiron was 4th. Now, if you look at his heat map, which I'll load up in a second, I've talked a lot. I said this guy, so you can check out my tweets at FPL Haul or my Instagram, which is the same. And I said straight after the game, I said, you know who caught my eye this week? This it was Saturday last week. It was Almiron. He was just everywhere. St. Maximin missed a header, an open net header from like 6 yards out. A few times he was through on goal from a lovely ball from Bruno Guimaraes, but he just like didn't pull the trigger or didn't want to shoot with his right foot and tried to pass it. So if he's a little bit more selfish, and then non-pen XG involvement, you can see he's here just underneath Salah. So for 5 million, and it was between him and Dewsbury Hall in the 5 million area. I'm not going Bailey because he's going to be done pretty much after this game week. But when I compare the fixtures of Saliba, I don't want to play him particularly in game week 6. I don't want to play him in game week 10. I don't want to play him in 12. So that's 6, 10, and 12. If we go to Almiron, 6, he's got Palace at home. 10, Brentford at home. 12, Everton at home. Leicester also have great fixtures. So if you want that 5 million rotation, Dewsbury Hall has even better fixtures. But Dewsbury Hall you won't really find on the stats list because he massively overperformed, because here, second most overperforming player behind Grosh's double against United, because he's a centre midfielder. He scored a screamer. You can't expect that from him every single game week. And he just stuck out and impressed me. And I can just rotate that 5 million whenever I want. But yeah, that's enough of my team. Let me check the chat, catch up with what people are asking and saying. Bournemouth are decent against Villa. Do you think there's a shot they keep? No, not a chance, VL. I think Man City's... Villa was bad. It wasn't... I don't want to take anything away from Bournemouth. Bournemouth did well, but Villa were bad. They were just taking pot shots from range. They didn't gel. Ings is just not on it. There's discord amongst the camp. Gerrard's record is ridiculously bad. I think he's getting away with it more because he's Steven Gerrard. But the stuff's not great at Villa right now, and I definitely won't be touching it. Like, if you've got Bailey, you play him now against Everton, but I would not be looking to keep hold of the likes of, Cash and Digne, because it ain't looking good. Yeah, Shui said it's more of a bad Villa than less of good Bournemouth. I agree. Jesus has 70+% ownership. You think I drop him out of the team again? Gabriel Jesus is a great option, Shui. He is a good option. I don't want to say cover, because I do think Saka is a better option overall, because there's more points potential from, like I said, clean sheets and more points for goals, and getting assists for Jesus isn't bad either. But I definitely won't be selling him after. He was great against Crystal Palace. It was unlucky he didn't walk away with anything. But if you can say I've got an expensive strike force, and the reason why I've got 3 as well, and why I didn't want to go for Jesus, is if I want to drop down, let's see Darwin is missing his chances. He's not getting those starts. I'm not feeling fond of him. He can go all the way down to a 4.5 million and I can spread the funds, because, again, I don't have to worry about my bench anymore. So if I started Haaland and Jesus, I would be more reluctant to get rid of one of them. Whereas doing it this way, I feel like I can keep the flexibility. Is Darwin nailed, though, with Jota and Firmino? I just don't... No. But... Again, I said I've far too many seasons. I've just thought about minutes rather than point ceilings. And I just feel Darwin's point ceiling is massive. He's an out-and-out striker. And I don't want to be sat here. It's the same with Haaland. If Haaland plays 70 minutes every game week and comes off because City are 3-0 up, but he's got 2 goals, you're not going to be like, well, he only plays 70 minutes. I want a guy who plays 90. No, if Darwin starts and comes off after 70 and he's done well, or 60 and he's done well, I'm not bothered. If he's not doing the business, that's when I'll get rid of him. Too many times I just think about expected minutes and not point ceilings. I don't want to play that way this season. I don't want to be scared to get players in because, maybe he won't play. Maybe there'll be rotation. We can't always play like that. Or you'll just end up with a team of central defensive midfielders like Rice because he play 90 minutes every week. Jesus captain, you've got Haaland and Salah. No, I said earlier, stay with the pack. Salah and Haaland, I think, are the best options, but also if you go Haaland or Salah and they do well, you'll ride that wave. But if you go for a Jesus captain and Haaland and Salah get 2 goals each, you've played yourself there. I would not be doing that. Hey, morning, Matt. Just woke up. See, it's the morning stream. Welcome, buddy. You have Diaz from the City defense, and I think that's great. So I said I've got Reece James here. Like I said, I could have gone Diaz, or I could have even gone Cancelo, found a way and done Cancelo, Walker, and like Sanchez in goal. But I just like the balance of this one. Cheapest possible way to get a City clean sheet. And Reece James' ceiling, he's on set pieces. Again, we can look at the match, because I want to show you his average positioning against Everton. Just while that's loading, by the way, this is what I was talking about Almiron earlier. You can see his heat map doesn't look, absolutely, it doesn't blow your mind. But here you can see he's advanced and he's getting in these areas here. Now, these are dangerous for not just getting those shots in, but cutbacks to, for example, Wilson or St. Maximin, which is what he did a couple of times, but the likes of Maximin spooned it. And there's another chance later in the game where St. Maximin took a shot and he could have squared it to Wilson or Almiron, and he was just being his usual greedy self. But this kind of heat map doesn't look the most impressive. But again, for 5 million, you can see those red spots inside the opposition 18-yard box. It's pretty good. So, having a look at the average positions. This is attack. This is Reece James. Look at that. So when you've got the likes of Cancelo, who's on the... I know they play a different formation, obviously, but Cancelo's like the left back / left wing back, and he's on the halfway line, and he's on the center circle area. But Reece James is on set pieces now. He's been taking corners. He takes some free kicks, and he's like the 4th most forward player in that Chelsea side. Now, Chelsea right now have a bit of a goal scoring problem, but they still have massive potential. I thought Raheem Sterling was unlucky not to come away with anything. There's a particular block, could have been from Holgate. I think it was in the second half, where Raheem Sterling just couldn't believe he didn't score. I think he was really unlucky not to come away with anything. Havertz was quiet, Mount was quiet, but give them some time to get back in some rhythm. We know the quality the likes of Mount has as well, and Havertz can produce, but look at that. So I thought 6 million Diaz, like Diaz and Walker with a cheaper goalkeeper, or just go with Chelsea. And the fixtures are great for Chelsea. These aren't bad assets. These aren't bad players overnight. And if we go to his ownership as well, it is just under 40%. So it is high. You are protecting some rank. It's not a huge risk, But if it's one of them where if you don't have him, it is a huge risk. What about Tete? No. I usually don't go for any newly promoted teams. Right. Williams is here because he's 4 million and he's going to sit my third bench and he plays. That's it. Right. I've not got a newly promoted player because I think he's fantastic. Mitrovic, I think, is just going to be the exception to the rule. 6.6 million. He's changed his game. Record season last year. I know it was in the Championship. I don't like taking Championship stats, but when he scores that many in the Championship, there's a great piece I read from a scouting website. I can't remember what it was, and they assess his game. The fact, and Mark Silva, the manager, he's come out afterwards and he's saying, yeah, Mitrovic isn't just a guy we lump it to anymore. He closes down. He triggers the press, and he's creating. He's holding the ball up and he's feeding the ball through to the wingers. And then he's always dangerous if we just bring up a pitch, for example. So if they're coming down the left side down here, Mitrovic, when he's on the shoulder, the blind side of a defender coming behind him towards, like the goal he scored, the header against Trent against Liverpool. He's always dangerous when he just sneaks around and gets there. We know his aerial ability, but he's added creativity to his game and pressing to his game. He's my exception to the rule, but all other... Okay, I've got Andreas here as well, but again, he's a sub player. I don't want to play him. I've got him because he's the best 4.5 million option. But defense, no. I think I saw somewhere that no promoted side's goalkeeper has ever got more than 100 points. So no. Just not for me. For 4.5 million, you can get, well, Saliba is it? Yeah, still okay. Saliba in an Arsenal defense or Tete in a Fulham defense. The other 4.5 millions that I really like. So if you guys are looking for 4.5 million defenders, I really like Castagna, and it's not just because he scored, but all the Leicester defenders are 4.5. We knew this when the game came out, and we thought, oh, whichever wing backs play for Leicester will be a great option, and that is true. Ricardo's unfortunately got himself injured, but from our point of view, that's better because we know the likes of like Justin and Castagna should be playing. So if you're looking for 4.5 millions, I just think like an attacking Leicester fullback is better than a Fulham attacking fullback. Other ones as well, not in the side just yet, would be Botman, who does look good. He's not quite in the side yet, so I won't be making that transfer. He just came on for a minute. I think it's going to be Shaw, who's gone up in price, and Botman, but not yet. I think Botman's just getting used to the team. People said pre-season that they thought Dalot was the best option in a 4.5 million range. I do understand that because he has been doing more underlaps for Manchester United and getting really forward and linking well with Sancho in pre-season. But that's pre-season. And with my defenders, I do want some creative threat, an attacking threat, but you've got to start with clean sheets. And with Manchester United right now, you just have no idea where those clean sheets are going to be coming from. Not a clue. And if we bring up the match sheet from Brighton and Manchester United. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Dalot's here. So he's not as attacking against a Brighton side at home. So Brighton, great system, not exactly the most clinical or attacking of teams. We're all over United, and again, he's here. So I don't think he's the best 4.5 million option. It starts with clean sheets, and I'm not seeing any clean sheets right now from Manchester United. So I wouldn't be going for Dalot, and they have Liverpool next game week anyway. Cucurella, Bobby Cucurella is fantastic. And I was going to get, if Walker wasn't particularly nailed, but there's been promising things, and I couldn't quite get to James. So, for example, I could have done James to Cucurella and then Walker to Cancelo if I didn't feel confident in Walker. The issue with me is game time. He's going to play. They've spent over 50 million for him. But here's something as well that might put people off James because it almost put me off. It is very possible in games like against Spurs at home, James plays centre-back, right centre-back. And for defensive solidity, they'll play maybe Aspilicueta at right wing-back. I don't think they'll go for Hudson-Odoi because he's more of an attacking wing-back. But with Reece James, Cucurella's, I think, the same. Reece James is the absolutely nailed right wing-back when they want to play a right wing-back. Right, he's the best right wing back at the club. Who plays left wing back, Chilwell or Cucurella? So Cucurella is a fantastic option, but I don't know if is Chilwell going to play left centre back. I don't think so. I think Cucurella does sometimes. So 5 million to get in those clean sheets if you don't want goalkeeper Mendy, I think is a great option. I don't see them spending over 50 million just to sometimes rotating with Chilwell. I just don't think that makes sense, and I don't think Chilwell's out of the team. Like, I don't think he's done really bad, so they're going to get rid of him. So he's one of them where wait till he starts 1 or 2 games, get an idea. Like, if he starts to the Chilwell, you're like, oh, that's gonna be rotation. But if he starts at left centre back, and you're like, well, I can take a Cucurella at left centre back for 5 million, then you're onto a winner. Oh, looking at the Liverpool game for the matches. Yep, hang on. You can look at how attacking Tete is. I'll load that up now. All of these, by the way, are from Fantasy Football Scout members area. If you want to sign up, then you can. Something like £18 a year or something like that. Jack Harrison, Kalpesh, I wouldn't be touching Leeds. I actually thought Wolves were better to an extent than Leeds. And I just 7 injuries, no Rafinha, no Phillips. I just think Leeds are going to struggle. I know people are saying like Aronson, who unfortunately had a goal taken off him. I just don't feel like Leeds is where I want to go, not for that price range. Tete is here. So here, if we just do a quick analysis of Fulham, this is Fulham against Liverpool, right? This is funny. So he's a sub, right? Duffy came on, but his average position was here in his own corner because he came on right at the end to get that point right. Anyway, so something interesting about Fulham, look how compact they are here. And they're in the opposition half. So there is a space here between their defense and their attack. So a team like Manchester City could dominate this. So if Rodri stays here, if Man City are going towards their number 1, right, you'd have Rodri in the middle, you'd have Cancelo here near the number 7, and you'd have Walker here. If they just pass in a triangle around here and get into this half space, Fulham could be in trouble. But the thing that this sticks out, if you didn't know, is the press. Look how clumped the players are. Interestingly, look, you can see Andreas Pereira is the most advanced player for Fulham. But you can see here the crowding out the middle and the trigger pressing really heavy. So this says that as soon as they lose the ball, or if they don't have the ball, they're pushing forward to try and get it back straight away. A kind of gegenpress. So interesting. That's why you can see Fulham were working hard against Liverpool. You can see that they were hungry and chasing the ball down, and the average position for each player just shows that. And having Mitrovic back here shouldn't worry a lot of people. He's back there because he's against Liverpool, and he has to he's the first one to trigger the press, right? He's usually the first one forward, and he's chasing it around. Or he's dropping down, holding it up, and Pereira goes forward, which again makes Pereira a very good option for 4.5 million. Bench 1, Gabriel, Neto, or Bailey. Ooh, hey Shani, how you doing, buddy? Now, probably not going to like this answer. I would probably bench Gabriel. That's only because it's defense against an attack. That's it. A defense that I've said before, Leicester are a great team. They are. They let in a lot of goals, but they do score. And I wouldn't be surprised today if Leicester score. Now, you can see I've got Almiron on my bench here. That's because he's not nailed. Fraser could start today. And Brighton away is not an easy game. But set pieces, Crystal Palace in Game Week 1 and Game Week 2 Leicester are rubbish at defending set pieces. They're absolutely garbage. They concede so many. So if he gets his head and sends it into the back of the net, he can let a goal in. I'm not bothered because he'll have a goal himself. So why would I want to go? Well, look, Neto's at home to Fulham. Fulham impressed. They did. But they're away now. They're not against Liverpool. So I'd probably play Neto, and it's Everton. No, it's not Everton. Yeah, it is. Aston Villa, Everton. Positive comments from Steven Gerrard. It looks like Bailey's going to start again. He wasn't impressed with Ings. He has something against Watkins, so someone's going to have to play up there. And Everton still don't have any attackers. They did really well, though, considering the injuries and stuff. Everton might not be too easy, but Gabriel, you're getting a clean sheet. Maybe. I just think maybe go for the attacking one. Thoughts on Trippier? I watched all the games, and I watched some of them back. And Trippier was, I don't want to say the worst player for Newcastle, because Newcastle played really well, and Nottingham Forest were not good. Like they threatened Newcastle like zero. Like nothing. They could have taken a nap at the back at times. But Trippier was a bit slack on his touch. A couple of his deliveries were a little bit off. Remember, I think he's only played 8 or 9 games for Newcastle before he had that break in his foot. He's still lacking a little bit. So I think he could be a great option. He's a really good player, obviously, and he is on some free kicks and set pieces. So for 5 million, if you can rotate him out, you don't want to play him. I think is it game week 3, game week 5? They've got Liverpool. Yeah, City in game week 3 and Liverpool in game week 5. If you've got someone you can rotate, so like I said, if I don't fancy Arsenal's clean sheet, Almiron's going to come in because their fixtures rotate really well. Right? If you've got someone that you feel comfortable, defender or midfield, whoever, to come in for those games, Trippier's a good option. He's really attacking. He just needs some more game time under his belt. Starting 3 forward is good right now. Yep, I hope so. That's what you liked about Fulham. They were so different compared to last week. Yeah, exactly. A lot different. Mount out for Grealish this week. Was tempted to move to Foden because I think Grealish isn't dangerous, but freeing up 1 million. Going for Grealish is just not for me. I want to bring up... It's just one game example. It's such an obviously small data size. But we said earlier about Cancelo going narrower, which gives the left winger, which in this case was Grealish, more time to... or more space to do what he wants on the wing. But sometimes he could be a little bit isolated. And Grealish so far just hasn't enough to make me think that like Mahrez isn't going to come in for him. And I know I said I'm not going to worry about expected minutes. And that's true. I'm going to try not to worry about expected minutes. But I said my caveat is to an extent, to a certain degree. And my degree is... I don't trust Manchester City. All the other ones I can trust. But you can see here, Grealish is going to be getting wider. Just not for me. Thank you for the super chat, Shani. I think you're the only one who's done one before. I appreciate that, mate. Super chat just for the short trim shape up. Thanks for all the that. Cheers. Thanks a lot, Shani. Much appreciated, mate. Very kind of you. Actually, you won't know. You only ever see like my upper half. I've actually lost a lot of weight. I've lost like 20 pounds over summer. Like a stone and a half. Been doing a diet. It's almost 10 kilograms I've lost. You've got to start Neto, Bailey or Trippier. Again, see, I'd have to say Neto and Bailey. For the same reasons I said not Gabriel. They're attacking players. If you think Newcastle can go to Brighton and get a clean sheet, go for Trippier over one of them. But if you think they won't get a clean sheet, you're relying on a defensive attacking return. Hey, morning, Denver. How you doing, buddy? Bar game week 3 and game week 5. Game week 5 is Liverpool away. Hey, Steve. Any Brentford players you think are decent investment? No. Sounds really horrible, that. No. Because the issue that the likes of Brentford had... Okay, maybe... Is it Janssen? The defender? Hold on. I need to go to Brentford, not defenders. Yeah, Janssen. Pontus Janssen can be a very big threat. So if you're, again, looking for 4.5 million midfield... defenders, you can see here... Pretty much a sea of green. Arsenal is not grey. I think that's more of a red fixture right now. But United, yep. Fulham, Everton, good fixtures. Chelsea in 12. But again, attacking-wise, Chelsea's not a red. They're more like a grey. So game week 16, after that, it's like the World Cup. So if you're looking for a 4.5 million player to come in, I think a Brentford defender is fine. But the problem that they've got is I feel as though the players with the same prices for other teams, why would you go for Brentford? So if you've got, for example, let's take about 7 million for a striker. You'd be looking at Tony. I just think you go up 8 million to Jesus. Do you know what I mean? Like, or you just don't have a striker and you get an 8 million midfielder. Excuse me. So that's the problem with Brentford for the prices that they are. Darmsgaard's new to the league at 5.5. He was like a Euro fantasy good play to have. But maybe him when he's not in the team yet. But you just look at the rest of the players. You don't want any of the midfielders. They're not creative. You've got Mbeumo for 6 million. Maybe if you're looking for the cheapest possible forward, Solanke is not a forward. He's playing like a midfielder. Mbeumo is the striker with Tony. So if you're just looking for like the cheapest playing striker, Mbeumo. But 4.5 million, maybe Janssen, maybe Henry, the left back. And of course, goalkeeper Raya. So, yeah, they would be mine. Ward and Raya, but everyone I think is saying like Sanchez and Ward rotate a little bit better. But if you believe in their defense, Raya, Henry, Janssen, wait on Darmsgaard at 5.5 million, and Mbeumo is the cheapest playing striker at 6. Tony at 7, like I said, I'd just be like, no, I'd rather go up to 8 million somehow and get Jesus, or 7.5 million and get like a Bamford or whoever's around that price. If you're going City mids, go Foden. Yeah, the issue with that, Matt, is what I said earlier. Like, I'm trying not to be worried about expected minutes, but I'm also just they don't get many points. Kevin De Bruyne, Haaland, and the City defense will clean out the points. We always say before, from Liverpool, all of the best options for Liverpool get you points. Alisson, Trent, Robbo, Matip last year. Ignore the midfield completely and then go up front, Salah, Mane. It's the same. Man City is the same. You can go for the goalkeeper, any of the defenders, skip the midfield, Kevin De Bruyne, and that's it. Now this season, Haaland. Because they just don't, they rotate too much. I said I'm not worried about minutes, but I do need to see them play minutes for me to not worry about minutes. So again, let's have a look. Let's go through the midfield, starting with Gundogan. 124 points last year, 157 now. I think, wasn't it 2021 where De Bruyne was injured a lot, and that's when Gundogan basically played in his place. But let's just say 140 points. Grealish last year, 86. Foden last year, 137. Rodri, 127. Mahrez, 135. Bernardo, 155. So let's just say 145 points, right? 145 points. Don't want to go total points. Let's go to price. 145 points. What did Zaha get? 150. He's 7 million. Go for players. Maddison, 181. Same price. Saka, same price, 179. Bowen, 8.5, 206. Even the year before, when he wasn't particularly big news, 141. Mount, 169. They're the same price. So you're getting like pretty much 140 points from Man City midfielder. And that, you saw the average, right? Even if you say 150, all the players around him got more. And I know that they get more minutes, but that's just more potential. 150 from Zaha. He outscores most of the Man City midfield. He plays for Crystal Palace and he's 7 million. Barnes, 137. But last season, what was he worth last season? 7. Trossard, 141 for Trossard. You never would have said that. 141 for Trossard. He got more than Foden. He got more than Mahrez. So we're sat here like, oh, I need to force myself to get, a Foden or a Grealish or a Mahrez, they got less points. They got fewer points than Trossard. So I don't know why he'd be squeezing in. For me, it's the Man City defense, Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland, or the rest of them. There's no point. They're overpriced because everyone else around them got more. And I don't see it changing because the threat is going to be Kevin De Bruyne, assist, Haaland, goal, clean sheets for the defense. But feel free to disagree. You might think that they're improving. You might think that the system's going to change. But I just look at the points that they score, compare them to all the other midfielders around them, and they're like 30 odd points behind them. Who am I captaining? Haaland. Over Salah. Playing the fixture there. Not just Haaland looking hot, because Salah didn't look hot and got a goal and assist as well. But better fixture. At home against a newly promoted side. So it's a no-brainer for me, that. And I've still got Salah. And they're still going to have high ownership, so whatever. It is what it is. If Salah does well, he does well. Haaland does well, he does well. I just would like them both to do well. That's fine. Just Haaland to do a little bit better than Salah, and I'll be happy. Reckon I'll roll a transfer next week? Nick, too early, I think, to ask me that. But yes, I would like to, because I've set up with pretty much the top 5 teams plus Mitrovic in mind. So I know Liverpool are going to have United. James will go on a good run. He's got Leeds, Man City. Yeah. Bournemouth for my Arsenal boys, and Brentford for Mitrovic. So yeah, I can't say, because if there's an injury or a red card or something, then I don't know. But the plan is to roll. I usually do roll after a wild card. You think Foden is important to Pep? They can play both sides. Oh, I'm not, by the way, having a go at Manchester City's midfield ability. They're amazing. But in terms of FPL points, everyone like a million up and a million like higher priced and like 1.5, 2 million lower price are all better value than Manchester City midfielders. Not Kevin De Bruyne, but he's worth 12 million, and that's why, because he plays for arguably the best team and gets the points. Foden is 8 million because he plays for the best team, but just doesn't get that many points. And you're right, they probably don't share the goals around as much, but it's still going to be Kevin De Bruyne to Haaland. Fair points, haven't considered that at all. Because sometimes, we love football and we think, well, Man City, they're so good, they're amazing. Even if Foden plays a lot, but even when he played at a false 9 at times last year, he hasn't scored that many points over the season. So for me, easily every other midfielder around the same price as them gets better points. And it's not always about minutes, because they do play over 2,000 minutes a season, which is still quite a lot. All right, let's look towards. If you guys have any questions as well, or any matches from Game Week 1 that you want to look at, we can. Positions we looked at last week. Best Mahrez replacement, given you have 3 Arsenal already. You've already got 3 Arsenal. We talked KDB or Salah. Ooh, I'm going to say Salah because he's a more attacking player. Best Mahrez replacement. So 8 million. Is that what you're looking for, Mariam? I'm not going to say Kulusevski because I don't agree. And I don't say Mount. I think to an extent the 8 millions have been overrated. Have you considered just changing the formation, Mariam, and going like Mahrez to a 4.5 and going for another defender? Yeah, I mean, you'd love to have Foden, but again, for me, I'd also love to have 2 defenders because don't want to be overconfident, but there's a 95% chance of a clean sheet. And he's a fun player to watch, but I can also not own him and still enjoy watching him do really well. I like Maddison. His fixtures aren't great, though. If you've not got 3 Liverpool, you could go for Diaz. But apart from that, I mean, I can't really recommend an 8 million midfield because I'm on a wild card and I didn't choose another 8 million. Mariam, so that's the thing. Like, I can't suggest you an 8 million midfielder because I've only got one and it's Saka because I don't want any more. So I'm playing 4-3-3. So maybe consider Mahrez down to a 4.5 and go an extra defender or an extra striker. But that'll cost you a -4. So maybe roll it for 1 week because Mahrez could play. You just never know. If I told you, Mariam, Mahrez doesn't start, but he'll come on for the last 30 minutes against a tired and hot Bournemouth, he could still do something. You know, you don't want to transfer Mahrez out and then he plays and then you sat there going, oh my God, Mahrez against Bournemouth. For a -4 in your case. So I just wouldn't be jumping off Mahrez just yet. And like I said, if it's 3-0 after 65 minutes, why is he not going to chuck Mahrez on? Give him some game time, give him some confidence. And I'd take a 40-minute or 30-minute Mahrez against tired Bournemouth. Would be pretty exciting, actually. Surely going for a City mid is fixtures play like Zaha and Bars. It is a fixtures play, Guppy, but the problem is that even if the fixtures are good, if the potential's just not there and there's value elsewhere, I don't see the point. And you remember, you're limited to 3. So people say like Trent and Salah are the best Liverpool options. Plus, and then you can choose Robbo as a great option, Diaz is a great option, Alisson's a great option for his price, and Darwin's a great option because they do go out and they'll get points. But Manchester City is just like, those defenders will get you clean sheet points. So you're looking at like 12 points to 15 points for 2 defenders for like 10 to 12 million. And then you want Haaland or KDB. So it just feels like that they're not worth that money. Is phone to play? Dan, I've just spent like 10 minutes discussing why I don't think any midfielders from Man City apart from Kevin De Bruyne is worth it. Bench one, Trippier. We already answered that, didn't we? I said Trippier. But if you think Newcastle get a clean sheet, play Trippier. The logical midfielder play is getting the 6 points for the clean sheet. And that's 6 points minimum unless they get a yellow card. But you look at them get bonus as well. I think, didn't Edison pick up a bonus point last week? Yeah. Edison got a bonus point last week. From 1 save. Because remember, they'll play it back to him a lot. So he'll get like a successful pass rate and increases his bonus points. 26 bonus points. And that's with him not having an assist or a goal. It wasn't a 0-0 and he's got a bonus point. So just feels like it's worth it. And Saliba as well, right? Saliba, 2 bonus points for him in a 2-0. No goal, no assist. So I just think the best play is you're looking at those fixtures and you're thinking 8 out of 10 games, they could be getting a clean sheet here. And for 10.5 million, Edison and Walker, 12 points for 2 players is almost every week, you know, touch wood, is just a sensible play in my opinion, rather than hoping Foden has a record-breaking season. Put in Gabriel. Hey, Tien, how you doing, buddy? Our card looks good. Ready for strikers, keepers, losers, weepers to kick off, buddy. I'm in goal today. Put Gabriel in. Yeah, again, Dan, if you think that they're going to get clean sheets, then play it. Why not choose Walker? Oh, I have. Yeah, I was going to say, you panicked me there because it's not that long till deadline. I'm on my wild card and I thought, oh God, no. I've not done it. I posted this earlier and see if you guys agree, right? I organize my team based left to right on value. So you can see Trent 7.5, James 6, Walker 5, Saliba 4.5. So when I see the points, I'm able to sort of judge like who's pulling the weight. And if I'm looking at my left side and I'm seeing lots of 2s, and then my middle I'm seeing like 5s, and my rights I'm seeing 5s, I'll be looking more on the left side being, hey, they should be doing stuff. And it helps me manage expectations, because if I've got a player on my right side getting 2 pointers, I'm like, well, I know he's not worth that much. I used to organize by teams, so I'd have like the Arsenal players together and the Liverpool players together. But yeah, just for organization, so seeing 13 million, 8 million, 6 million, 11.5, 9, and 6.5. I just like organizing my team financially. But people didn't seem to agree. How do you organize your team? Do you organize it? Are you as sad as I am? Or do you do it by teams or by colors? Or a popular one is doing it, trying to put it in position. So you try and put like Trent at right back, Robbo at left back, Salah on the wing kind of thing. So I organize my team. Haaland or Salah as captain. Ashish already said Haaland. You can see on my team. No lies from me. I'll zoom right in for you. Newly promoted side. The whole team looked great in game week 1. And playing the fixture. Palace. As my argument for... So I did a bench boost. So basically I free hit in game week 1 because I've wildcard in game week 2, right? I had 0 City because I didn't know West Ham were going to roll over and have the bellies tickled. And I had no Arsenal because Crystal Palace were statistically the 5th best defense last season, especially at home. So I didn't think, well, I'm free hitting. Why am I going to have 3 Arsenal players? So I'm going for Haaland this time because this is my wild card. Clever organization. Yeah, never thought about it. Put it financially. And honestly, it helps manage expectations because when you see the points, your points on your left should be a lot more than your points on your right. And at week on week, if you're looking at your left side and thinking, my left side's not getting many points, and they're my expensive players, might help you to make some decisions. Hey, RBK, how you doing, buddy? Good morning, mate. Yeah, I always forget to ask. If you guys can like and subscribe, that would be really nice. And again, if you are just new and your avatar's down there, if you do !random, because I don't know how to select the items yet, this will give you like random hats and heads and masks and stuff. And if you do the American spelling of color, and then choose a team, so let me back Wolves, it'll change their shirts to the team. And when you speak, you'll have a little bubble. So you can see that one's there, me with the Wolves shirt and like a yellow hat on. And you'll get that if you subscribe, guys. If you subscribe, then you'll have a little dude down here. And I'm going to go back to Man City. One word, because that's my captain. Oh, I'm wearing like a hoodie without the hoodie. Jack Grealish in the chat there. The not real Jack Grealish. Wildcard, yeah, wildcard. Bench boost game week 1, wildcard game week 2. That was supposedly the optimal play. Look at other streams and videos as to why I've done this. I don't want to spend time, again, same for people who've been here before. But in short, I focus the rest of the season out. So at some point this season, guys, you are going to have to use one of your wildcards either before or after with your bench boost in mind. I don't have to do that anymore. And even if it's a double game week and you think, well, I'm going to bench boost, remember your bench boost is for your weakest players. So if I've got like almost every penny, I've got 0.5 million on my bench because I've got Almiron for 5 million. I've got every penny in my starting 11, which means that should be theoretically my strongest team. If you've done a double game week and you want 5 or 6 million players on your bench to bench boost, that means you're taking that money and value and potential point ceilings out of your starting 11 just to bench boost. And some of you will do hits or spend weeks and weeks organizing your bench and getting back to normal just for the bench boost. So game week 1 bench boost with wildcard, game week 2 just gets rid of all that. I can focus every move now on my starting 11. That's just one of the reasons why I've gone for that. Let me just catch up. Triple captain in Haaland. Go for it. At home, newly promoted side, arguably the weakest side in the league as well. Them or Nottingham Forest right now. Why not? 3 seasons ago, I think, whenever Liverpool opened the season against Norwich, I triple captain Salah. And, you know, you can argue triple captain any Salah or Haaland against any newly promoted side at home. Why not? Aston Villa, one word, Mark. So colour. Aston Villa. Everything should be one word. All right, let me catch up with this. Should you consider transferring Luis Diaz? In or out? Both of them would be no. It would be a hold. Wait, what did Marco? Oh, triple captain Haaland. No, not for me. But IBK is dangerous. Jack Harrison from Leeds in the chat. No, Dan, not for me. I said earlier, I'm not touching Leeds. No Phillips, no Rafinha. Not a lot of faith in the head coach. Still got like 7 players out or whatever it is. No. And for those price points, just no, not for me. Hey, Sparta. Good morning, mate. Morning, Mark. Why no Spurs players? Jerry, good point. Well made. First, attacking wise, you're only looking at Son and Kane. I've got 2 premiums and I've got Salah and Haaland. I believe in Salah and I believe in Haaland more than I believe in Son and Kane. Son and Kane are fantastic options. Don't get me wrong. Incredible. Great players. But in terms of ranking the premiums, Salah is number 1 and Haaland is number 2. So I've got those in. So I can't afford them, Kane and Son. I had Kane in Game Week 1 for my, like, quote, free hit because I bench boosted and wildcard in Game Week 2. And he's playing central defensive midfield again. In fact, let's have a look at that because I never actually checked it. I just assumed he was playing deep. I just assumed it. I never actually checked it. With my eye test of watching the Spurs game, Harry Kane was just so deep again. I was just like, oh, not again. Did he even have a shot? Did he even get in the opposition box? I don't even know. We'll check out Harry Kane now. Let's check out Harry Kane. Here's Harry Kane. Now, let's take Chelsea and Everton was not an amazing game. It was pretty even, right? So let's bring up again. Hell, let's have a look. Here's Man City, right? Man City obviously dominating West Ham. Let me go down. Let's compare these, right? Harry Kane, average position in a 4-1 victory, is inside average position. He's inside his own in the circle. On the halfway line circle. That is his average position. That's the same as Doucouré. Look at this. This is Harry Kane, 11.5 million forward. And that's Doucouré of Everton. This is Reece James. Reece James was, on average, higher up than Harry Kane. That's Pereira. Diaz, more attacking than Kane. Now, Salah is goal hanging, basically. Darwin, you can see, is right up there as well. That doesn't... I didn't even check, guys. I just knew when I looked with my eyes about Harry Kane. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's your 11.5 million striker in a 4-1 victory, average inside the halfway line circle. So... going back, no Son and Kane, too expensive, and Kane, not even an option. Defensively, who do I go for Spurs? The wing-backs, great. Who's going to play? Perisic at 5.5? Don't know. Sessegnon 4.5? Very nice price. Going to play? Don't know. Going to play over 60 minutes? Don't know. Just too much uncertainty. Not going to go there. Who to bench, James, Neto, or Bailey? Oh, that one's even tighter. If you again, defenders, if you're thinking they're getting a clean sheet or an attacking return, go for those premium defenders. I would probably go Neto over Bailey. Question, why is Marcus Rashford in my team? I can't help you with that, Matt. A lot of wildcards have chosen Darwin. Feels a bit risky since he may not play full 90. What do you reckon? Free rhythm, I mentioned this like way at the start of the stream. I'm ignoring those kind of minutes thing and I'm just looking at pure points potential. And if he can come off the bench for 40 minutes but do bits, I don't care how much he plays. Why do you think Kane for Haaland or wait one more week? Sean, I just sort of ripped into Harry Kane there. What if we have Arnold and Robertson? Great options. I think Salah, Trent, and Robbo are absolutely fantastic. They got 1 point last week, but they ain't going to do that every week. And they're still incredible players for incredible value. I'm on a wild card, so I can go Darwin. And if it doesn't work out, he stays on the bench. He doesn't get goals. He's garbage. Darwin down to 4.5 million. Defender up to Robertson. Or midfielder up to Diaz. Remember, I'm in a different position than you. I'm playing a wild card, so I can go with Darwin. It doesn't work out, I go away from Darwin. If you don't have Darwin, you got to get to him and then get off him. What do you think about having Mount? How long should you stick with him? I wouldn't get rid of Mount too quickly because we talked about Chelsea fixtures and they go pretty good after Spurs. Look, Leeds away, good. Leicester at home, goals. Southampton away, they are looking bobbins. So I'd give him a couple of game weeks. Remember, the likes of Salah have set the bar so high because they make you think that your player should get points and goals and assists every single week. And it's just not the case. Someone like Salah is just an anomaly. They just don't pretend he's not an FPL player. Players should get like an attacking return every like 3 games. So don't compare Mount to looking at points. Just, be realistic with him. He didn't have a good game against Everton. Is Uruguay in the World Cup? I'm not sure. You have De Bruyne and just switched to captain from Salah. The fixture's there, but Salah as an attacking player is more attacking than Kevin De Bruyne. But don't be surprised if De Bruyne gets 2 assists and a goal from out the area because it's Kevin De Bruyne. Kane had a scoring chance, but the keeper saved it. Yeah, I saw that, but the XG wasn't particularly high, wasn't it? Shot from like the side of just inside the 6-yard box, but at the side, it wasn't an easy chance. Kane scores against assists, that's fine, but 11.5 million, I'm not watching him do that. How come I'm not in the scout videos? Because of time, IBK. When I was streaming with Ted last year, that was before my daughter was born. So I live out in Asia, so the time zones isn't great. So I could maybe do some Saturday morning streams with Scout, but when I used to stream with Ted on Monday nights, my Monday night, but in England that would be like lunchtime or early afternoon, that was like 10 o'clock at night my time, and I've got to take care of my baby, and then I've got to go work next morning. So that's why. Just time. I can't do those times anymore. I could do like this stream now on a Saturday, but I can't do other times. So, for example, they do Scoutcast, something like that. That's like 4 a.m. my time on like a Wednesday. So, no chance. Who'll score more this week, KDB or Salah? I'm going to say Salah. The thing is, I can't predict KDB. If he's going to go out and he's going to attack, he can bang. We know his quality, but he's not. Salah's going to have the higher ownership. So if it's 50-50, now Fabio Borges is like the best FPL manager of all time, right? And I'm not saying follow effective ownership. If there's a call that is so tight, it's so close, then you go with effective ownership to cover yourself. So if you're thinking, I reckon KDB could do it, but what do you reckon? Go with KDB because that's your thoughts and feelings. But if it's just like, oh, it's so close, get De Bruyne or something, I don't know. Go with effective ownership and protect yourself. That's the only time you should really be looking at effective ownership. When it's such a close call, you can't make your mind up. That's the problem with Haaland and Salah. Their effective ownership is huge, but KDB's won't be. So if you want to, and again, if you want to be risky and you think, oh, I reckon KDB could do Salah this week, go for KDB. Gerard said he was the only player to play well. Pieter. Mark, you have to be clear. I don't know what that means. Can you be on the positions for the Man City match? Yes. I went into depth earlier about why I don't have Cancelo and the fact that if he's going to be central, he's a much less, not worth his 7 million than he was last year. Saka's average position. Okay. We can do that. It seems the template is shifting to 3 forwards. Yeah, people have mentioned that. I mean, I hit the wild card as soon as I could last week, and I've had 3 up front the whole time because I said earlier, Darwin is just an aggressive play, and Haaland is Haaland. And I just think a 6.5 Mitrovic right now, compared to midfielders, is better. That's simple. You have Mitrovic already worth a start? Yeah, I would. He's against Wolves, who conceded 2 against Leeds, who have like 7 players, no Rafinha, no Phillips. Why do I think Saka will get more points than Jesus? You put Jesus in your team thinking to do Saka. Well, first, to get an extra point for clean sheets and to get an extra point for goals. Second, Saka did bits last year. He can do bits this year. Third, Jesus played really well against Palace, got nothing. Saka didn't play well against Palace and got an assist. That's it. I think it's dead tight. Structurally speaking, I needed an 8 million midfielder and I want Saka. I didn't need an 8 million forward. So it all comes down to your own team. But in terms of if you give me a choice, Jesus or Saka, they're incredibly close. Just from my team structure, it's this way. All right, let's look at Saka. Nope, there's Saka. Average position, exactly where you think he would be. Right wing. Just like Martinelli's here on the left, and Gabriel Jesus is in the middle, in that front 3. Exactly how you'd imagine it. What are your thoughts? People say it's not worth having Salah and Haaland as you can only captain one. No, because if you captain them quite evenly, then you're giving them the value. Like if I captain Salah every single week and I never captain Haaland, then you might be able to make an argument. But the fact that like game week 1, Salah, game week 2, Haaland, game week 3, maybe Haaland, game week 4, Salah against Bournemouth, you know, if I'm alternating a captaincy, that's what gives them the value. Any chance Gunnar is going to get more game time with Bernardo Translate? Yes, but it is his last season, so don't be surprised if we see maybe a youth player come in there, or not this week because Phillips is out, but Phillips can play next to KDB. Doesn't have to be in for Rodri. If Darwin was 8 million, would he be a must-buy this week? That night point, yeah. I'm not going to say a must-buy, but 8 million people, loads of people would be on it. If Darwin was 8 million, Jesus would have gone down in price because people would have just knee-jerked Jesus to Darwin. Taiwan, Robbo. Am I geographically close? Not that close, no. Oh, okay. Okay, Mark, gotcha. Buying Vardy is good or not? No, I wouldn't buy Vardy now. Okay. Got Arsenal away. Oh, actually, Vardy likes playing against the big boys, but I've got Darwin. I can't say get Vardy, and I'm sat here on a wild card and I'm getting Darwin. Compare Mitro to the likes. Mitro is better asset than Rashford. Yeah, they're the same price point, 6.5 million. 6.6 for Mitrovic now. And yeah, compare 6.5 Mitro to Diaz, that's fine, but I need 11 players. I have 4 defenders. I don't want to go 5 at the back right now. And I've already got double City defense, so I don't need Diaz. Should you buy James and sell Periscope? Yes. I know you said Perisic. For free, yes. I would. I'm not going towards Perisic. because I said earlier when someone said, why haven't I got any Spurs in my team? I just don't know who's going to play. Who shares the main team, Neto or Bailey? Neto is more important to Wolves than Bailey is to Villa. All right, let's do some quick fire predictions. Villa Everton. Everton, I don't think will score until they get a striker. So I'm going to say this is 1-0 Villa. And then this is going to think people who all quickly sold their defense. I think it's going to be 1-0 Villa, but I think it's going to be something ridiculous like a Konsa header. This doesn't scream good game to me. Arsenal Leicester, I think could be a goal for Leicester. 3-1 Arsenal. Brighton Newcastle, tight affair. 1-1. City Bournemouth, 5-0 Man City. Southampton Leeds. Oh, Southampton looks so bad. I'm going to say 2-1 Leeds. Wolves Fulham. I think this could be pretty close, but if Fulham play like they did against Liverpool, I'm going to say, but look, Fulham's defense guys is not good. Tim Ream is not. He had a good game against Liverpool, but he's just not. Sorry, he's not Premier League quality. 2-2. I reckon we have some goals. People are like, Wolves scoring goals? This is crazy. I reckon Wolves are going to score and Fulham's going to score. Score draw. If we do it old-fashioned way. Score draw. Wolves and Fulham score draw. Brentford, Manchester United. Who knows what you're going to get from Manchester United? I'm going to say, I reckon it's going to be an awful start. I'm going to say 2-0 Brentford. No, 2-1 Brentford. Nottingham Forest, West Ham. I'm going to say 2-0 West Ham. Nottingham Forest were probably the worst attacking team of all the teams last week. They were like, Man United were bad, but it looked like they could score goals. Everton didn't have a striker, and they had a couple of chances. Forest did nothing. I had Trippier in my defense last week, and I never once for 1 second in that entire game think, oh, I almost lost my clean sheet then. Not once. The entire time. 0. 2-0 West Ham. Chelsea Spurs. Gonna be tight. Gonna be 0-0. 0-0. Palace Liverpool. 2-0 Liverpool. That's what I'm gonna go for. Kulu could be the Spurs pick. Could be, but he's 8.1 million and Richarlison's back. It's been one game week start of season is always a bit crazy. That's 4 or 5 game weeks since we started. Blowing wild card, taking more hits, my game great team, a trap team. I don't think it is a trap team. And I thought about this. Don't worry, I didn't knee-jerk this. This was a pre-season plan. But I now got one Fulham player who I can always get rid of. But I've got Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool. I'm not scared. They're the best teams in the league. Spurs is missing here, and that's it. I've already talked about Spurs. You don't think Richarlison takes many minutes off him? Well, why did they buy Richarlison then if he doesn't take any minutes away? Bench James or Sessegnon? Sessegnon. Screams 0-0. Yeah. Simon, the Everton fan. Yeah. Screams 0-0, mate. Thoughts on Haaland and Grealish for Kane and Mahrez? Need the funds. Not Grealish. No. Haaland, yeah, but just not Grealish. Pascal, Grosh, or Neto? Neto. Grin or Neto, Dewsbury Hall? Or Grosh or Neto, Dewsbury Hall? Oh, that's 3 players. Okay, Grosh is last guy. He scored 2 against Man United, but come on. He always scores against Manchester United. My order would be Neto, Dewsbury Hall, Grosh. Just bought Linkard and some other guy. They're reaching for the stars. Oosh. My bench. Almiron, Andreas Williams. I spent a long time earlier and I've done posts all week about why I think Almiron is the bee's knees. I really like him. Only Salah has more goals against United than Grosh. Yeah, exactly. He does it against Manchester United, not so much against others. You may have mentioned already, but why not Zinchenko? Because of the price? Nope. Well, technically yes, but when I said earlier about Zinchenko, his left back, he's a good option. But if you look at this is Zinchenko here. Not too bad. Pretty good for your defender, pushing up. But when Tierney's back, is it rotation or does Zinchenko move into the midfield? If Zinchenko moves into the midfield and he's basically like here in his own half as a central defensive midfielder, he's not going to be worth it. I'd rather just have Saliba for 0.5 million cheaper. Or now, 0.6 million cheaper. All right, guys, if there are no more final questions, predictions done. Again, I can't see my team changing from this. Ederson in goal, Walker in defence, double clean sheet, potential Man City there. Trent, James, don't have to explain it. Saliba, 4.5 million defender. I can rotate out with Almiron when I feel more attacking, but that's an Arsenal defender with great fixtures. If this is my wild card, I've got no more wild card until obviously after the World Cup. That's another reason why triggering the wild card early is fine, because usually in a season we'd have a longer space without a wild card, right? But the fact that I've only got to do 15 weeks and I got given another wild card, it doesn't feel as, it's not as early as you think. Salah, don't need to talk about him. Saka, Martinelli for Arsenal double up, great fixtures again up to the World Cup, apart from game week 10 and 12 against City and Liverpool. But that's fine. I can bench, for example, Saliba for Almiron. That's why he's there. Haaland, obviously. Darwin, I want to be more aggressive. I want to get on him before other people do. And if it doesn't work out, because I've already got him, I can jump off him. You probably don't have him, and you've got to get on him and then get off him. And I can drop him all the way down to 4.5 million if I want, and, get a fifth defender, do whatever I want to do, right? So starting with a wildcard with Darwin, I think is sensible. Wouldn't be ripping my team up to bring him in. And Mitrovic, 6.5 million. For that price, I think he's better than 6.5 million midfielders. And even though I could get another 6 million defender, I don't want to be with 5 at the back at the moment. I want to go with a 4-3-3 and have that more attacking player with 2 good fixtures coming up. All right. If you guys can leave a like and subscribe, I hope to be back next week. I'll hope to put out a video as well. I do appreciate everyone popping in this morning. It was great to see you all. Final answers. Thoughts on Bowen? Fantastic, especially because he's got Nottingham Forest this week. Tierney rumour, maybe to Man City, yes, but they've just gone and signed a young left back from Anderlecht. Who will be the game week big surprise hauler? No surprises. I think it'll be the people we think it's going to be. Thanks, Robbo. Like the stream. Should you start Andreas over Perisic? I would start Andreas. Perisic doesn't have a bigger upside. He's against Chelsea away from home. Good team. Thanks, Kiffian. Welcome back, buddy. Cheers, 3 of them. Thanks, Mark. Good to see you guys as well. Take care and see you on next week's stream. I'll be on Twitter most of the day watching the games as well. Take care, guys. Have a good one.